Well, let me just say this: you and Papa. Oh, by the way, why did Stevie Richards decide to sit this out?
Right. What is that? Is he with us or something?
I don't think he has heat. He just, when it comes to, well, we'll be honest with it. With the Conspiracy Horsemen, it's just GGP and I right now. Big Sal was doing some stuff on his own, and Stevie wanted to kind of get away from not being branded as that, but he's really focusing on his Stevie Richards Fitness brand, and
Okay. Understandable.
it's nothing like those guys, Well, it was really, he's like, Feeney's a mark I can't be seen.
I knew it.
Yep. But no, Stevie says hello, absolutely, and Vince says it as well. And thank you for keeping that USA secret underneath the. That's very.
You guys do the Raw. Do you do the Raw? What reviews do you do on Vince's show and your show?
Stevie and I do the SmackDown Live review, and then Vince, Stevie, and I do the Raw review on Channel Attitude.
Right.
So brand.
Well, let me ask you, because
Master Shoot Theater on Vince's Patreon.
Because me and Conan a few months ago, a few months, we kind of saw that they were. I don't know if you agree with this, because I know you and Vince are very critical and stuff. You're very critical of the bookings and everything, but what they were doing, we thought very well. Okay, like all of a sudden, because it just seemed very different. Is a lot of episodic storytelling and threads throughout the show. Where like the show was being written, maybe the angles weren't great, but the show was being written better. Like Sammy would go in the locker room and they'd come out, he'd be just and like throughout the show is as opposed to, and like sometimes they'll get lazy and do this still, but as opposed to the formula, guy comes out for an interview, another guy comes out for an interview, they yell at each other, the GM comes out, I got a great idea, why don't you guys have a match right now? And stuff which was formulaic and there was no teeth and stuff. But we think that the reason that they've turned around and have not drastically, but ticked up in the ratings a little bit. They haven't been going backwards; they've been going forwards. And I think it's to the fact that they're doing a decent job of doing decent episodic soap opera storytelling, regardless of how good the angles are. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think first, second, and third act they've tried to interweave that absolutely.
Right. Right there, there's like 3 decent stories going on, and you have some underneath stuff. But it's but they keep them at the forefront, So
they get so close to a disco of doing it. Like there's 10 ways to do something, right? And we have all these choices, and we want to narrow it down to our top 3 and see where those go and what opportunities they give us. So with Sammy, who's done a brilliant job playing this game out with the Usos, where we have a stakes game and where they are in the pecking order. And then we got to the one show where after Sammy's been sent to be the young boy and all this for 2-3 weeks and the kick around, they're not there. And Big Dog, Roman Reigns, invites him in. And we get this magic relationship between them where Roman says in a very improv way to what Sammy's beefs are, yes, Sammy, you know what? You're right. And instantly we have a reverse of the stakes. Sammy has just jumped them. So now we should have Big Dog and Sammy doing more together and those guys being on the outside. So when Usos show up next week, now Sammy has the power and can get the retribution on him. Instead, we don't. We had that 5-man Intercontinental title match that Sheamus goes over in, which led to a great match with Gunther, a phenomenal match at Clash, phenomenal. But if we were in Montreal, Sammy's over like the return of Christ, and then they have head scratching Sheamus go over. If Sammy would have gone over there with the help of Roman, and they're standing up there at the end, putting up the ones, imagine that visual. Imagine Sammy goes over at Clash of the Castle because they're saying, Oos, you're the honorary Oos, but you don't have any gold, so you got heat. Well, now I got gold, Oos, and all 4 of them. So the sidebar scenes that we've seen where they keep playing the game out of the stakes between or Sammy going yeet yeet and 100 and word, hilarious. Not the best choice of the top 3. We were speeding down the highway to get to our destination. Instead, we went over here, and now we're on the road with the Amish people. And it's a lovely view, and the scenes are good, but we're not back on the highway to the top choices that we had. And these are simple improv rules and playing the game and acknowledgement that I've been trained to understand. I think WWE gets so close to it, and they feel it, and they pat themselves on the back, but they don't know how to finish it or keep playing the game out by heightening and exploring. Look at that relationship we had with Roman and Sammy what could we have done and gone with that? And now that opportunity, because they didn't have him help with the IC title, is gone and off the table. That was a much higher stakes choice if they would have made that.
I would agree with you, but they just added another Russo. So I wonder what the thing is, like the relationship is. With Sammy's like going to be like, hey, am I like, maybe he thinks he should be. You could adding the next Russo is like good storytelling, because Sammy be like, okay, this guy's number 5 on the pecking order.
Right.
What are you talking about? He's like, Sammy's like trying to like, hey, bro, you can still do some great stuff because Sammy's been so great.
It's not going to be bad. It's just not going to be the best option. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but this is very glaring. What I noticed, right off the bat when Hunter took over, no more 24/7 cartoonish stuff.
No.
Okay. No more Alexa Bliss with the dolls and the playground and stuff, everything, and no more Omos, who just stuck out like a sore thumb, is super green on that show.
Yeah, he'll be back with Braun,
I think like you see that you saw the ratings go up, and I think there was enough of I talked to Vince about this. There's enough of lapsed fans that still follow wrestling, that listen to our shows, but like we hear it all the time. Well, we just listen to your reviews. We don't watch the shows. If you put over something, we'll watch it. So like there's a lot of fans like that, enough that was like, whoa, Vince is not in charge anymore? Let me tune in. So because like there's enough fans say like, this is Vince McMahon's show. This is insulting my intelligence. It's like
script at 4 p.m. He's literally going, after this, I'm going to rewrite it on a legal pad. How can you expect to have any pre-tapes done to do first, second, and third act?
Right.
How can you expect to have any stylized things done? And so we're just having 6-mans put out this cold match. So, and I'm not trying to put that on the writers. They might have worked their ass off all week in his delusional dementia state.
Bro,
I'm not doing this.
I don't know if you heard us from Brian James, but that's basically the gist that, these guys are just trying to write for Vince and like saying like, they're coming with a great idea, but Vince is going to hate this. Imagine that process.
So shout out BG James, Road Dogg. I'm not here to disrespect his legacy by any means, but that is why we were hired as consultants, because he was surrounded by yes men who went, yeah, best idea ever, boss. Instead of going, while the ratings went from a 3.6, 4.0 down to a 1.6, and they're going, sounds like a good idea to me, instead of going, hold on, man, you're out of touch, and ripping up the script right now is not a good idea for this show. Instead, nobody sticks their neck out to be the one to be like, time out, boss, this ain't working, and this doesn't
You're scared to get fired.
Well,
but think about it. So ultimately, what do you do?
Fired from a show and be the scapegoat, or stick your neck out and tell him the right thing that will, if executed properly, will increase his trust in you, will increase your performers' trust in you, and give the audience a better show. Nobody wants to put their neck.
Is that worth $250,000 a year?
I don't give a.
Maybe you don't, but you're talking. That's the thing about fear and money with a billionaire. The guy's paying these guys enough to get them scared to write stuff that he likes, So I'm not saying it's right, but I can understand the perspective of what they have to deal with, of course, right?
I can too, but that is short-sightedness. To sit there and be a yes man means you will soon be a scapegoat and you will be fired, as opposed to applying the Armstrong knowledge that runs through his DNA, giving far better suggestions, improving the show, and ratings go up. Chances of you getting fired are far less, and that's long money, as opposed to, yes, man, let me fly under the radar stuff, and then when he's gone, Game will give me my job back, which ribs on me. That's what happened. So I can bitch all I want while he earns the paycheck. But the complacency and not sticking your neck out when you know the choice is a subpar one is a big problem. And that's why the shows have sucked for 5-6 years, bro. Right. And that's on both sides. That's on every company, really, to be honest with you.
Right. Do you enjoy the shows more lately?
Disco, sorry, real quick. Conan stepped away. I don't think you noticed, but he'll be back in a couple of minutes.
No, I did. I saw the
Okay, he wanted me to tell you. All right, just so you know.
Yeah. He gets called to meetings at AAA and Zoom every now and then. So it's what was I going to tell you? But if the shows were more enjoyable, bro, I here's the one thing I know. When the shows, I knew the shows would start trending up in the ratings, because it was at the point where I'm watching the shows, but I'm fast forwarding it. Then it's I can't even fast forward. It's taking too long. Fast forward. Let me watch the condensed version, the 30-minute thing, and stuff. Then this is taking too long. Let me just watch the SmackDown top 10 and the Raw top 10 thing, and just read the. But now I find myself watching more of the show like from start to finish. And I'm like,
there you go.
This must be doing better in the ratings because I'm a good gauge because like, when I think the show sucks, I'm fast forwarding through it and the ratings stink. When it's better, I'm watching it and the ratings are up. So it's like, do you feel the same way when you watch these shows?
I mean, I'm paid by Vince, so I watch every brutal minute.
You watch it 3 hours and the two. You watch every.
I know, bro. Because as a director and writer, as well as performer, booker, whatever you talent coach, I want to see these tiny, minute details, and that's where I see the promise in things of wow, this could blossom into something. If I rip right by it, I'm going to miss the overall storyline. I'm just meticulous and psychopath.
Well, the one thing I've noticed too, and like maybe you did, like do you watch AEW too, or just watch it periodically?
I watch it. No, I have to review it.
You watch it too. Okay, so this is what me and Conan talked about. It's like right now in wrestling, like a lot of the content, the good actors stick out like a sore thumb.
Absolutely.
But it also makes the bad actors stick out like a sore thumb too. And you're watching like the Daniel Garcias and the Wheeler, like these green guys that are in these segments with like seasoned vets and stuff. And it's just like you go like, I don't know what they're seeing that I'm not, but this guy does not belong in this. You got the soap opera actor in there with De Niro and Pacino and stuff and everything. It's like, he's ruining the scene. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, go ahead.
And you have a lot of NXT properties that are just on wind them up and go out and say the same old trope because they're excited that they hit 30 seconds and got counted down and stuck the landing on a 1 minute promo. Meanwhile, they said nothing and exposed themselves as like, I don't even know what my character is supposed to be. So
how about the fact that like the guys like it's fascinating. You listen like Keller, Meltzer, and everything, bro. They are just completely dismissive of a character like Cross.
Well,
and I'm like, what? And I'm like, what on earth are you guys not seeing that? Like, this guy's acting is like, I helped train the guy, but I trained him like this.
Sure.
On like how to command presence and stuff. The way like the thing isn't the moves. It's like giving a guy a move and the picture of you standing over the guy with this. Like I always told him, the most iconic photo of Muhammad Ali isn't him in action.
Yeah,
it's him standing over Sonny Liston like this, and like that's those are the snapshots that people remember in their mind when they're looking at your character. You know what I mean? And I said, and like I don't know what they don't see that people that have done this before and booked it can see. It's like what do you think?
Those guys you mentioned seem very Catholic priest-like to me, who like young boys.
It's like, they love these running these scenes, like acrobat, right? Yeah.
And I got to compliment you to being the mentor for Killer Cross, a 1 in a million talent who has the vision to take this art to where I want it to be, Shakespearean combined with Jerry Bruckheimer combined with Martin Scorsese, like on another level, who absolutely gets it, and then had to be marginalized by this crazy old man who's got a vendetta against his own son-in-law to go out and put this mask on and job to Jeff Hardy. Oh, okay, good. I'll do what you say, boss. Instead of going, do you see this epic how about you try and raise the rest of the show to match my level? That's where everyone should be striving, whether it's comedy. I'm not saying it's got to be some epic performance that way, but it should have that much attention to detail and care and character in it. And that's why he's outshining everybody now while they're still doing great work.
Yeah.
But
well, just like I'm watching,
let me bury him. You got. I need.
Yeah, like they bury the guy, and people. The people in the main
a shaved head. I can't have this sexy hair Killer Cross. I don't
mind it because he's kind of like this is.
No, I need it. I gotta have it. I gotta have it.
But the funny thing is like when he does like a minute and a half worth of TV and just gets everybody to forget about his previous 3 months on television. Forget John. Like I just did a minute and a half and like all of a sudden I'm a major player in this company. So it's like I don't know. There's people.
He's undeniable, bro.
Well, the wrestling fans and I like the dirt sheet community and Meltzer and these guys, everything that are so invested in their critical review of the work as like a thing that's a very important for their listeners their readers to be invested in. Is like how good is this guy and everything? And I'm like I keep saying this and and the funny thing is like this is true. Like in the history of professional wrestling, a 5-star match has never drawn a dime ever because the dimes were all drawn before the match started. And your review of the match is where the 5 stars comes, but we already drew the money, so it did not. Your 5-star match did not draw the money. The build drew the money. And if you can't look at characters that can build a match, it's like you're not going to like the review. You can't just sell people like this is going to be a great match. You sell them on the build-up, and it's like there's something like the WWE guys are doing so much. So many of their guys are so good at the 1.5 to 2 minute vignette, or like Seth Rollins is killing it once he's found his niche of like this Joker type, weird heel, just this, and then Sammy and Kevin Owens is doing good mic work, and it's like there's so much good acting. It's like and AEW, bro, they're like in the back for 45 seconds, like, I'm going to see you at Rampage Friday night. And last time we worked, we went to a 30-minute draw. I'm like, but now I got my friends with me. And it's like that stuff is like that's the glaring difference between the two shows.
Oh, it looks it looks like second graders on the out in the playground playing wrestling, trying to imitate it versus the guys that are actually doing it at the highest level. Not to say there isn't plenty of holes but you're trying to quantify guys who believe in the PW 500 as a real thing.
Right.
Exactly. Take them remotely seriously and give them any credence is absolutely asinine. I would never those guys just don't see it on cross. Well, then they need to gouge their eyes out because they're morons. Right. Like if you can't see that, you have no eye for talent or ability or where we need to go in this industry. And if you're more worried about somebody's shotgun buckshot lariat 450 to the outside that somebody's going to kick out on anyway, you're a mark. You don't understand this business that moves mean nothing. Story and emotion mean everything. That's what sells the ticket.